So thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Yeah, I really just want to go into like your story, how you got started, why and whatnot. I see you're down in Tennessee, right?
Yes.
Cool. And then what were you doing before you started a lawn care company?
So I actually worked for the water company
Mhm.
in Saudi Daisy over closer to the Chattanooga area.
Oh, in Saudi Daisy?
Yes.
That's hilarious. My girlfriend's parents just moved to Saudi Daisy 2 months ago.
Really?
Yep. And we're from Massachusetts.
Okay.
They had never heard of the town. They just moved to Tennessee, and that was the town they liked.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place over there.
Yeah. Cool. And then, so you were working for the water company. How do you get into that initially?
So I actually started out in Chattanooga at a company you may have actually heard of, USIC.
Hmm.
They mark the underground infrastructure.
Hmm.
So I started at USIC in Chattanooga, and my area became the Saudi Daisy area.
Hmm.
Um, I was out marking a line. They were putting some water line in, and I was talking to the guys while I were out there, and they were like, "Hey, we're actually looking for some laborers if you'd be interested in this." And I mean, I was 21 years old. I was like, a government job at 21, you know.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Yeah, where do I put in an application at?" And sure enough, I put in an application. Met the supervisor. Crazy backstory, but I bought a truck from the supervisor there,
Like
and we
before
started.
you even heard about this or
Yeah,
during? Oh.
yeah, before. So bought a truck from him for my dad,
Mhm.
and he was talking to me about, we're gonna have a position open soon down here at the water company, and then those guys started talking to me. So I was like, yeah, I signed, put in an application, and a couple weeks later, ended up leaving USIC and went to Northwest Utility District. So.
Wow. And how long did you work for them?
So I was there for 2 years, and I left and came to Dunlap
Hmm.
Water Company, and then I actually ended up leaving Dunlap and going back to Saudi Daisy for about another 8 months
Hmm.
before I took the journey into mowing full time.
So while you were still working for the water company, were you doing part time at that time?
Yes.
Mhm.
So I started my business solely because I wanted a new truck.
Yeah.
I bought a Husqvarna zero turn and a steel weed eater,
Yeah.
and I had a small little, I don't know, 5x8 tilt trailer.
Yeah.
Um, and I was like, I want a new truck, but I had just had my first baby girl. Just bought my first house. Um, and Brianna, my fiance, was going to college to be a nurse, so she wasn't working. And I was like, all right, I really want a new truck. Um, So I just started picking up a few yards. I tried to pick up 10 yards. I was like, 10 yards, $50 a piece. I'm making a truck payment or close.
Yeah.
So started doing that, and next thing you know, man, I was just trying to find people to help me in the evenings. There wasn't enough daylight.
Yeah. So, did you have landscaping experience from the past, or had you just done it like personally? Why did you think, all right, extra money, let's do landscaping?
Because actually, when I graduated, I went to work for a company here in Dunlap, and I actually stayed with the company. Um, for year. I mean, right now, I still do some mowing for the same exact guys.
Hmm.
They just contract their mowing out to me now. They don't actually mow anymore. So I had been with them since 2013. I just needed something. When I found out I was having a kid, I knew I needed
Yep.
something better. Not to hate on any of us mowing guys, but
Yep.
if you're working for somebody, you ain't gonna get what you want.
Hmm.
So, and I knew I always wanted to have my own business. So, like I say, I kind of started it. I tell people, I mean, really kind of started as a joke, right? I wanted a new truck. Um, I never got the new truck, right?
You
I never got the new truck,
got a
but
new job.
I got a new job out of the deal. So
So you mentioned that you always wanted to start your own company. Did you know that eventually you were gonna start a company? Was this more of an inevitability and this just happened to fall into place? Or what did you mean by that?
I just knew that I always wanted to work for myself. Um, didn't really know what I wanted to do. Uh, but I guess just, fell into place more or less.
Hmm.
I had the experience in mowing. I knew it was something I was good at, and I knew I knew you could build it. In a small town here like Dunlap,
Hmm.
the I knew the market was there. You know, be honest, show up when you say you're going to show up, and that I knew it could go wherever you wanted it. Really,
Yeah.
to all glory to God, right? That's the main thing.
Hmm.
Um, everything fell into place, but to all glory, God
Yeah.
put it, God put it here, and has truly blessed me.
And when you were in that part-time phase, did you ever have a time? I know you said it picked up quick, but was there ever a time where you were kind of like, maybe I don't want to continue doing this? Or once you were in it, where you're like, no, I see the path with this?
So I always just seen the path. To be honest with you, I will tell you, man, I had a great general manager at the water company.
Mhm.
Super guy. Um, I had two different ones. David left and went to Georgia, Catoosa County, and when he left is when I went to Dunlap because
Mhm.
I didn't know what was going to happen there, so I came to Dunlap to try to better what I thought I needed. And then Kevin ended up going to Northwest, and then I got in touch with Kevin and was like, hey, I want to come back and work for you. Before I left, I went to Kevin and I said, hey, where am I going to be and where am I going to be at in 5 years?
Mhm.
And he was he was honest. He was like, right now I can't tell you. And
Mhm.
I said, all right, well I'm gonna turn my notice in today.
Yep.
And he kind of said he was like, I expected it. He said, you're a good worker.
Mhm.
What you put your mind to, you're gonna do. And the guy, love him to death to this day. He said, how would you like to do our all of our water tanks and booster pump stations? And I said, yeah, for sure.
Cool. And so you mentioned like he was a great manager, and you just really like you love this general manager. His name was Kevin, right?
Yes.
So if Kevin had said, let's say you when you approached and you said, "Where am I going to be in 5 years?" If there was actually a position, he said, "Well, hey, here's the roadmap, and we can get you there in 5 years." Is there a chance you would have stayed and not done this?
100%.
Mhm.
I
Do you
would have
think?
stayed. I would have hired guys, and I would have kept the mowing as a retirement fund.
Mhm.
Because when I was working at the water company, my first year, I'm the guy. I'll tell you straight up. My first year, I didn't know what an LLC was. I
Mhm.
didn't know what insurance was. If something happened, I paid for it.
Yeah.
Um, but I had a full time job,
Mhm.
so the money wasn't that important to me at that time,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So when I left the water company, I actually had some stuff come up. I had my appendix. I had to have my appendix taken out in November.
Mhm.
Um, I used that money, my mowing money, to keep my doctor bills. I had good insurance at the water company, but we still had a deductible
Mhm.
that had to be met before they paid anything.
Yeah.
Um, so that was in November, the end of November. January the 11th, I started having kidney stones. I had to have two kidney surgeries.
Wow.
Um, so, and like I said, I mean, you're gonna hear me repeat it 100 times, but all glory to God, right? Because
Mhm.
after those surgeries, I had cash in my drawer at home, and that's how I made all my doctor bills. I mean, that's how I paid everything, or I never would have. I never would have been able to make it, you know.
Yeah.
But I probably would have stayed. I probably would have hired two guys. I would have let them make most of the money,
Mhm.
because clearly they would have been taking care of me.
Yep.
But I think I would have stayed. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I think that I would have stayed because I had it. I mean, I had it made. I was a project manager over there. I was in the office. I
Yep.
went around, talked to contractors, made sure they were laying water lines correctly. I mean, it was a gravy train job. I worked 7 to 3 Central Time.
Hmm.
Didn't have to work over if I didn't want to work over. So yeah, I mean, I had it made, no doubt.
Yeah. Gotcha. So, would you say the reason you would have stayed, obviously, you mentioned the money, it's a good position, but was just having a really good general manager and a good leader, was that a big part of it too? Not really wanting to leave him?
Yes.
Gotcha. And
And
then,
I'll tell you
mhm,
another little backstory on Kevin. Now I don't know this. I've never asked. I'm just a down to earth guy. You know, I'm not gonna put anyone in a position that they don't want to be in.
yeah.
But 6 months after I left, Kevin left. So did he know he was leaving? I'm sure.
And let's say the reverse happens. Let's say it was still a great job, still getting all the pay and whatnot, great time. But let's say you had a terrible leader. Do you think you would have left sooner?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think you would have just went back to the other water company, or do you think you would have been like, no, I'm starting my own thing now?
I would have just started. I would have just put 100% into the mowing at that point.
Cool. And then the health issues, those occurred right after you quit the job and were going full time into the mowing?
Right before.
Right before.
Yep. 2 months before.
Okay. And did that scare you at all into going full time? Or did that make you more motivated to go full time after that?
Um, Motivated me more. Because and and it was an appendix and some kidney stones. You know, it
Mhm.
happens every day. But morally, it was more of a learning experience for me because I mean, I laid on a bench that we have at our kitchen table for 6 hours with my appendix about to rupture and had no idea just because I'm a guy, right? I don't want to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
That simple. So I mean, I laid there for hours, and then when I walked into the hospital, they put me in, done what they needed to do, and then as soon as they put me into the CT, they came in and were like, "Hey, you're going to Chattanooga right now."
Mm.
And I was like, you know, just what if, right?
Yeah.
What if my appendix did rupture before I got down here and something crazy happened? Um, I would have what if forever. Like, why did I never try to do my mowing full time and see what potential was there?
Hmm.
So yeah,
Gotcha.
it motivated me more. It made me want to do what I wanted to do with life.
Yeah. You didn't want to have any regrets. I
One
gotcha.
more time.
I said you didn't want to have any regrets.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't want to question anything that I had done, so it just
Hmm.
motivated me to push it.
Cool. And then, so you go full time into the company, which was 2019, right?
Yes.
So 2019, what was that first year full time like?
So I guess technically my first full time year would have been 2020.
Hmm.
But it was good. I mean, we stayed busy. Calls, you know, kept coming.
Hmm.
But I tell everyone, man, February, you know, 2021, February of 21, I was hungry. You know,
Yeah.
there was times that I was like, man, did I did I make the right choice here? You know, because
Hmm.
winter times here suck. I mean, we've seen some snow this year, but that
Hmm.
was the first time. I mean, there was a blizzard in '93, right? But this was the first snow that we went out. We cleaned parking lots and cleaned some roads. So we don't really see snow here. So that part's out of our business. I mean, we don't we don't have the tools because we don't use them.
Yep.
Um, but probably my first 2 years, man, February, I was like, this is a struggle. Luckily, I have a great mentor. I've been working for the guy since 2013 when I was
Mhm.
with the other mowing company, and he he helped me a lot. You know, he was like, if you need work, come to my house. I've
Yep.
got work. So last year, 2022, after mowing season, he kind of said, just come to my house for 15 hours a week, and I'll make sure you're taken care of.
Mhm.
So I done that, and it worked out great. I mean, it helped me through the winter for sure. Um, but he also told me this is the last year, so he said you're on your own now. You got to bet on yourself.
Yep. And then what did the so 2021 to 2023, so up to this point, what did that look like?
So again, man, stay like I said, we stay covered up during the summer.
Mhm.
It's great mowing. I pretty much have a great schedule down. We stay busy. Winter times, they slow down a lot. Last year, 2023, was my best year to date.
Mhm.
Um, I think the first time that we had a week off, not due to weather, was Thanksgiving week of 23.
Wow.
So, and we've still right now just stayed covered up. The snow put a big halt on us, but like I said, we went out,
Mhm.
pushed parking lots, and, made that happen.
Yep.
But we're right now. I mean, we're still busy. I would say that we've probably had 3 weeks off. Winter 3 winter weeks off in 2023, 2024. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Do you because you're so busy, do you actually appreciate getting to have a week or two off in the winter?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
And what
After
would
the snow, man, I was ready because, like I said, we didn't have snow plows. I mean, I was using a open cab tractor, you
yeah.
know. I was like, man, am I ready to have a week to sit at home and just
Do nothing.
enjoy the heat, you know?
Yeah. So, what would you say in the past 2 years has been your biggest hurdles you needed to overcome?
Employees, finding guys to work.
And why do you think that is?
It's just it's a struggle. Um, I won't get off on the politics turns of business, but when you give stuff away, people start to expect it way too much. It's hard to find good employees. Um, and I get it. Like I said, our winters suck, so we're not guaranteed the winter months.
Mhm.
So it is. I mean, that's the biggest struggle is trying to find guys who can understand. You got to bust it during the summer, and then you can kind of relax during the winter. Because that's my ultimate goal. I mean, I want to hustle during the summer. I don't care if it's daylight to dark.
Yep.
I'd love to hustle during the summer and not even have to worry about the winter.
Yep.
But that's the biggest struggle is trying to find guys that have that same mindset.
Mhm.
Because a lot of people don't want to winter wet leaves. Blowing wet leaves
Mhm.
sucks, but you got to go get it. I mean, you
Yep.
have to hustle. So
And where do you think that where do you think the biggest issue in the hiring process is coming? Is it the people you're sourcing? Is it maybe like the expectations aren't sent from the beginning? Is it a training issue? Where do you think the issues are stemming from?
I think the issue mostly, man, is just money. That's where the most complaints come in is
Mhm.
money. Um, on my side, it's probably different for everyone, but I think here it's just the money situation. Everyone wants to start out making $25 an hour,
Hmm.
and I want to give people I want to give people room to grow because I think that makes you feel better. It's nothing about the money to me. Like I don't care if I know that I'm going to pay you $25 an hour, then sure, it's there. I know what I can afford, but I also feel like if I start you out at 25 and you don't see a raise for 2 years, you're gonna hate the job. If you can start out
Hmm.
at $20 an hour and in 2 years you're getting to 25, you're gonna appreciate it a lot more.
Yeah, definitely. And then let's say, James, that you did, let's think about in 5 years from now. Let's say you do everything right, you do everything you know you're supposed to do, and you don't procrastinate, you just get it done. What does your company look like in 5 years?
Um, if we find the if I find the employees and we find the hustle and we stay busy through the winter, I hope to have my goal is to have two mowing crews running Monday through Thursday, 410s, and doing just small landscape stuff, trimming bushes, maybe some irrigation, stuff like that on Fridays, and always having the weekends to
Hmm.
off. So um, definitely, definitely grow. I mean, we would definitely be growing.
Hmm.
And I hope to, like I say, that's my whole plans is in 5 years to have a couple more small machines to make the jobs easier. Like I say, I'd like to have two mowing crews running, or
Hmm.
a mowing crew and a small landscape crew. I don't focus on new installs. I got a good friend here in town that he does excellent work on new installs. So I kind of push everything in that nature to him.
Hmm.
But we do small stuff. We'll go in and fix a bed and trim bushes and throw some sod down on some yards. So I hope to have two mowing crews running. Needless to, needless to say, two mowing crews and like I say, 410s, so we can have Fridays for little jobs.
Yep.
I think that's where I want to be.
And where do you want to be in that? Do you want to be working on one of the crews? Do you want to be in an office? Like, where do you fit in the puzzle?
So right now I just do a little of both. I'll jump on a crew if on my crew if I'm needed. I'll sit in the office all day if that's what I'm needed. But realistically, where I want to be is I want to have two good crews running so that I can be out selling jobs. The most important the most important job is to sell.
Hmm.
So that's where I want to be. I want to be strictly selling jobs.
Cool. And then, last question for you, then, James. So, we talked about what the last couple years have looked like. We talked about what the next 5 looks like. What do you think your biggest strength is going to be over these next 5 years? Like, what is your company really great at, or you personally? And then, what do you think is going to be the biggest hurdle moving forward? Again, it could still be employees, or if you think it'll be something else in the next 5.
Um, the depending, the biggest hurdle I think is always going to be employees. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Um, but the biggest strength is, man, I preach it to everyone. Is quality. We're definitely not the cheapest around town. Uh, I won't even I won't even brag and say that we're the best, but I care so much about quality of work that quantity doesn't matter to me. Um, we have a mark that we need to hit daily. Don't get me wrong there, but you got to do good work, and I think that that's our strong spot is that we do good work. And again, like I said earlier, man, just all glory to God. I give everything to God. It's nothing that I do. Um, it's never going to be what I do. It's what I've been blessed to be able to do. So, um, I think as long as I keep giving it to God, man, we'll do what we need to do, and I'll always be taken care of. So,
Well said, man. Cool. Well, hey, James, I appreciate your time. Before I let you go, do you have any questions for me? I also own a landscaping company, so if you got any questions, I'm happy to answer them too.
yeah. So, just we're different parts of the United States, right? So, you guys have the same employee struggles. I mean, is that clearly we follow the Facebook
Mhm.
page, and a lot of people talk about it.
Yep.
Um, but I'm open ears, right? I'm willing to hear any kind of input
Yeah.
you have.
So we struggled with it for years. It was definitely tough. The biggest thing that helped us with the employee struggle was we adopted P for P. I'm sure you've heard of pay for performance. So night and day, because the thing about P for P, it depends on your leadership style too. So here at our company, we're very honest with the team that we're trying to grow, we're trying to make a lot of money, and we're trying to do amazing work. And we have high standards. The team members understand that we expect nothing but the best from them because we give nothing but our best. I have a partner. It's a partnership, this business. So the other owner and myself, if you ask any of our workers, they'll never outwork us because we have a policy that a manager has to be here before the team arrives and after they leave every day. Our team, maybe twice last year, was there ever someone still in the field with no one in the office here? So they know we work. And like, the times we left, maybe I was out doing an estimate. Like, we work very hard here, so they know we're serious. And what's great about that is we lead from the front. They see you working really hard, they're going to want to work hard. Because the thing is, you can only really expect 80% of the effort you give from someone else. And the thing is, 80% is great if you're like, 80% is phenomenal. Customers can't tell the difference between 80% and you. Um, but P for P is great because with the culture we have here, it also is a completely unbiased system for them to make money. Like, we have a big whiteboard in our office right next to me, and we have a team meeting every morning, and we have scoreboards on it. So every team member has their yesterday, weekly, and monthly paycheck right on the board. They can see exactly how much money they made yesterday, exactly how much they made last week, exactly how much they've been averaging this month. And then we even have the yellow slips, which are customer complaints. Same thing, the number of yellow slips you have right on the board. That means everyone can see it. So, and we never shame people. Like, never have we brought someone up and been like, he got 5 yellow slips. It's on the board, but those conversations are private. And what's great is it creates a friendly, competitive environment with our team members. Because the thing is, like, I'm happy to pay you. I want to pay my team members a lot of money. If they make $35 an hour on P for P, great. I'm happy because that's only 33% of the labor. Like, it doesn't really make a difference. If it's an 8-hour job and you do it in 6 hours, I'm happy to pay you 8 hours of work. I was expecting to pay that anyways. So I like it's a cool system and the team loves it. Like, we just had a guy come in to do a cleanup. It's winter, so like, we got a cleanup call because it's so warm out right now, and he made 27 an hour, and like, he just did 6 hours of work, got to make 27 an hour, like, that's it. And like, he loves that. He said that got me so excited to come back this March because March is when we really start up. So
Mhm.
I'd highly, highly, highly recommend adopt P for P or some incentive program because that's all people want. Like, you're a high achiever. I was like that too. I used to work in retail. Nothing irritated me more than like, I'm not going to lower my values because of my environment. I'm going to work hard regardless. Even when I worked minimum wage, I always worked hard. I never slacked because, like, it's a value thing. Like, I'm sure you understand that. But it's still infuriating to see the guy smoking weed in the break room every 2 hours getting paid the same as you. So,
Sure enough.
yeah, That's what I highly recommend is just get some sort of pay incentive. It doesn't have to be P for P. It could even be like, hey guys, if you do X by, if you get like 40 lawns done in a week, I'll give you an extra $100 in your paycheck. Just something they can aim for. So they actually they're like, oh, if I work hard, I'll actually be rewarded.
Yeah, so I actually have looked into P for P. I've been reading, and I want to implement that probably next year. I'm not going to do it because it's
Mhm.
too late this year, but I do want to implement that into the system here because I think the same. I mean, if you give someone something to work for,
Mhm.
they're going to work harder.
Yeah. And
And when I first started my business, I bought a trailer from a guy, and the guy drove an hour and a half to Walmart here in Dunlap and met me
yeah.
with the trailer. And he was an older guy, and he said, "Don't ever expect anyone to work as hard as you, because
No.
if everyone had that same mindset, they'd all be business owners." And that stuck with me forever.
Hmm. Yeah. And you know, everyone's got their strengths. I used to get really infuriated by it, but I just understand now that it's like not everyone wants their career and work to be their top priority, and that's okay because maybe their top priority is their family, or maybe their top priority is like their church. Like whatever it is, as long as I'm a believer that as long as you're willing to work hard towards some positive goal, that's okay. But we do have minimum requirements here. And the great thing about P for P is they know our training, you have 2 weeks to hit P for P. If by week 3 you don't hit P for P, you're not let on to the company. Like all the new hires know that. Because the thing is you should be making more than 20 an hour. Like you don't belong here if you don't. This is an A player company. I made it very like the interviews, I tell them hey, just so you know, like everyone here works really hard. And I'm not just saying that because we explain P for P in the interview. I'm like, because of this, everyone is super friendly, super professional, but they work hard here. If you don't want to work hard, you're going to hate it here. But I say but if you do want to work hard and make a ton of money, you're going to love it. So I guess just figure out whatever culture works for your company. That's just how we like to do it here. And it works great. And trust me, first 3 months of last year, terrible. We don't have a single worker left from the first 3 months. There's a picture on my website of what our orientation. None of those people are left. But the thing was, it's because none of them were fit for that culture. They didn't want to be a part of that culture. And again, it's okay. They're not bad guys and girls. It's just it's not for them. So I wish them all well.
Yeah, no, hey, it's a hard business. It's hot. I mean, it's miserable some days,
Mhm.
and it's not for everyone, you
Yeah.
know. And that's what I tell everyone up front that comes on here. You know, I tell them, I'm like, it's hot. I mean, it's gonna be miserable.
Yep.
You know, um, if you don't like it, if it's not for you, just tell me. You know, there's
Yeah.
no hard feelings. It's all business. If you don't like it, all you got to do is tell me. We'll find somebody else, and there's no hard feelings. No, I'm not gonna give you a bad. If someone calls me because you're going somewhere else, I'm not gonna tell them anything bad about you. If you're honest, that's the key. You
Yep.
know, be honest. So